Roll. When the life you built stopped fitting who you are. Opener. This is not a video about who you have become. This is not about reinventing yourself or leaving everything behind. You might recognize something in what follows. That is allowed. Noah wants to help you understand yourself and the people around you a little better. Nothing more than that. Nothing less either. Have you ever looked at your own life and felt, just for a moment, that it does not quite fit? Not a crisis. Nothing dramatic. Just a quiet strangeness, like wearing something you picked out yourself, something you chose, something that used to feel right, and noticing that it no longer sits the way it used to. Everything looks fine from the outside. The work, the relationships, the life you built piece by piece. But somewhere underneath, a question that is hard to say out loud. Is this still me? Part 1. The stage. At some point, you built a version of yourself that worked. Not a performance, not a mask, something genuine. A way of being in the world that made sense for who you were at the time. A role in your family, a shape you took at work, a way of showing up in rooms, with people, in relationships, that eventually stopped feeling like a choice and just became who you were. And for a long time that felt like exactly the right thing. The fit was real. The version of you that lived inside it was as honest as you knew how to be. That is not the problem. The problem only arrives later. When the version of you that built that life has quietly grown into something the life was not designed for. There is an image that helps. Imagine you built a stage. You designed it yourself. You chose the lighting, arranged the furniture, decided what would be visible and what would stay in the wings. And then you stepped onto it and lived there genuinely for years. At some point you begin to notice something strange. The walls are not quite solid. The lighting, which used to feel warm, now feels slightly artificial. The arrangement that once felt natural now feels like something you have to consciously maintain. You did not get it wrong. You built exactly what you needed at the time, but somewhere in the process of living on it, you changed. And the stage did not change with you. What you are looking at is not a lie. It is a version of yourself that has become too small for who you have become. There is a concept in psychology that describes this precisely. When a person builds an identity that works and commits to it fully and honestly, they tend to stop questioning it. Not because they were blind, because it was working, because every day it was confirmed by the world around them, because the version of themselves they had built was giving them everything a solid identity gives: structure, purpose, recognition, a clear sense of who they were. The version was not wrong. It was right for the person who built it at the time they built it. The only thing it was missing was an update system, a way of asking every few years whether the person inside had outgrown the container. Most identities do not come with one, and so people grow quietly and continuously, while the version of themselves they show, the world stays exactly where it was when it first started working. Part 2. The moment the set moved. There is rarely a dramatic moment. No single conversation. No event you can point to and say, "There, that is where it changed." It is more like waking up one ordinary morning and noticing that the space you have been living in feels slightly off. Not wrong, just different in a way you cannot name. The role is the same. The expectations are the same. The life is the same. But somewhere inside it, you are different. And the gap between who you are now and who the role was built for has been widening quietly for longer than you realized. This is the part that is hardest to explain. Because from the outside, nothing is wrong. You are functioning. You are showing up. The life you built is still standing. But from the inside, there is this low, persistent sense of going through motions that used to feel meaningful and now feel slightly hollow. Of performing a version of yourself that is accurate but no longer quite honest. And the most disorienting part is that you cannot explain why. Nothing happened. Nothing broke. You just grew. And the thing you grew into no longer fits inside the container you built for an earlier version of you. There is often guilt attached to this, because the life you have built is a good one. There are people in it who love you, work you are capable of, things you have done that you are proud of. Who are you to feel like it does not fit? That guilt is one of the reasons this goes unnamed for so long. It feels ungrateful to say out loud that the life you chose has started to feel like something you are maintaining rather than something you are living. But the feeling is not ingratitude. It is the distance between who you were when you built this and who you have become in the years since. That distance is not a betrayal. It is evidence that you did not stop. Part 3. When the body says stop. There is an idea that has stayed with me we call depression is sometimes the body saying it is tired of the image, not tired of life, tired of the sustained effort required to maintain a version of itself that no longer fits. Some people have described it as a kind of deep rest, not rest from activity, rest from the ongoing performance of being someone you are no longer sure you are. Tiredness that sleep does not fix. A heaviness that arrives without a reason. A reluctance that is not laziness, but the nervous system doing exactly what it was designed to do, signaling that this version of you is done, that the next one has not started yet, and the body knows it, even when the mind is still pretending otherwise. The body does not ask permission, it just stops. From the inside, it does not feel like a signal, it feels like failing, like everyone else is holding their version of the life together and you are the one who cannot quite keep up. Like something is wrong with how you are built. That feeling is very convincing. It is also not accurate. What is happening is not collapse. It is a system refusing to pretend any longer. The stage is still there. You are still near it. But something in you has quietly stepped back and is looking at it from a distance for the first time. That is not failure. That is the beginning of something honest. Part 4. What was always true. Here is what this feeling cannot tell you. It cannot tell you that you are gone, that the person underneath the role has disappeared. You are the one noticing the misalignment. You are the one sitting with the discomfort. You are the one asking the question. That is not nothing. That is the person who built the stage, still here, still paying attention. Just larger now than the frame they have been living inside. The role did not swallow you. You built it. And now you have outgrown the container you made for an earlier version of yourself. That is not loss. That is the whole point of having lived long enough. Roles are not lies. They are structures. They give us a way to be in the world before we have worked out who we actually are. A container for growing in. A shape that holds us while we are still forming. The problem is not that you had one. The problem is only that this particular container has stopped growing with you. That is not a failure of the container. It did what containers do. It held you. For a long time, it held you well. A container that no longer fits is not something to be ashamed of. It is something to be noticed. There is a space that opens up when a role stops fitting and the next version of yourself has not yet taken shape. It is uncomfortable in a way that is hard to locate. This space is not emptiness. It is the evidence that something real has finished and something real, not yet nameable, has begun. That is not nothing. That is the start of something honest. Part 5. You are not your role. The role cannot tell you who you are. It can tell you what you were good at, what was asked of you, what you became capable of over years of showing up as it. But it cannot tell you what you want now, what costs too much to keep giving, what has quietly become important to you in ways the role does not make room for. The person who wants different things now than they wanted when they built this has not made wrong choices. They are a person who grew, who kept living past the version of themselves the role was made for. That is allowed. That is, in fact, what was always supposed to happen. The years inside the role were real. The connections, the things learned, the person you became through living inside that structure, all of it was real. The fact that it no longer fits does not make it false. You were not lying. You were living the most honest version of yourself you had access to at the time. And now you have access to more, not because the earlier version was wrong, because you kept going. Both versions of you are real. The earlier one built something worth having. The current one is noticing that the building needs to change shape. That is not contradiction. That is continuity. I do not know what your particular role looks like. I do not know how long you have been wearing it or what it took to build. I do not know what the next version of you looks like either. And I suspect you do not yet either. The old shape is familiar. The new one does not have edges. But I know this. The discomfort you feel when the life you built stops fitting is not proof that something is wrong with you. It is proof that you did not stop, that you kept growing past the container you made for an earlier version of yourself. You are not your role. You are the person who built it, who lived in it, honestly, who is now, quietly and without a roadmap, beginning to outgrow it. That is not a crisis. That is what people who actually grow look like from the inside. Closing. I have lived inside roles that no longer fit. I have kept showing up as versions of myself that had quietly stopped being honest. Not because I was pretending, because I did not yet have the language for what was shifting, because the structure was familiar and the alternative was uncertain. What I have found is that the next version does not arrive through a decision. It arrives through staying honest with what no longer fits. through giving the discomfort a name instead of pushing it down, through allowing the old container to be what it was, something that held you well for a long time without needing it to hold you forever. If you are in that space right now, leave a sign below. A word, a dot, or just your presence. Let the next person know they are not alone.
I still know every hallway, every light that used to lead me home.
I can walk it with my eyes closed,
Still somehow feel completely lost.
the walls remember every answer.
Every version I became,
Only lately I've been wondering
why they never say my name.
Nothing shattered, nothing disappeared. Somewhere in the silence I just stopped arriving here.
I've been wearing yesterday,
Long after it let go of me,
holding every thread together,
while coming apart quietly.
maybe nothing has to break, maybe nothing has to burn.
Some doors never lock behind you. You simply stop returning.
Everyone still sees the picture,
Just the way it used to be,
no one hears the quiet distance
growing underneath my feet.
It's a strange kind of loneliness,
Standing where you've always stood,
watching someone else's shadow.
do everything you always could.
Maybe I was never trapped,
Maybe I just stayed too long,
and the hardest part of leaving
is admitting you've already
I've been wearing yesterday,
long after it let go of me,
holding every thread together,
while becoming someone I can't see. Nothing here was ever wasted, nothing here was ever wrong.
I just kept becoming.
Long after this place stopped becoming home.
I still know every hole